Alright, good morning everyone. I've had to re-record this like 3 times because I can't figure out like how to go about it because there's so much to talk about. So please bear with me if this gets a bit rambly, but it is August 29th, 2023. It is almost 9:30 a.m. So I'm just going to go in order of these tabs you see up here. Like I'll get to everything, but for now, we are looking at our local forecast office, Jacksonville, Florida, and you can see the impacts of Hurricane Idalia, which when it gets here is forecast to be, well, at least when it gets to landfall, it's going to be a Category 3. By the time it passes our area, who knows? It might be closer to a Cat 1, maybe a Cat 2, but I don't know. We still really haven't seen Idalia cross out into the truly, like, super warm ocean waters, so I'm still a little iffy on this forecast, but it is running out of time because it is going to make landfall. It looks like a lot of the forecasts are saying around like this time tomorrow, actually, around 10 a.m. But that could vary by a couple hours. We'll see. But it's going to have like a good day's worth of time out in that water, and it is really hot today too. The atmosphere is also just really hot around the state. I'm sure. I'm sure that doesn't help temper it any. It just makes it stronger, I'm sure. So it looks like the potential hazards we have here: 4 to 8 inches of rain, coastal flooding and storm surge, tropical storm to hurricane force winds, and several tornadoes possible. So it's weird. The forecast in the Weather Channel app for tomorrow actually says like sustained winds of only like 25 miles per hour, but in the same breath, in the description, it also says like tropical storm to hurricane conditions possible. I don't think. Yeah, no, we're not under a hurricane watch or warning right now. We're just under tropical storm warning. I I don't know. I'm kind of surprised by that. I feel like that might change maybe in like sometime today. We'll just have to see. I don't know. Maybe they think we'll be far away enough, but the whole thing with like how I see it is we don't know how big the storm is going to be. Like we get a general depiction on radar, but that's not the wind field. And the wind field extends like well past where the precipitation is often, especially in like breaks between bands of rain. So tropical storm force winds, I'm sure, are definitely going to reach all the way to the Atlantic coast. I think that's a guarantee. I would be surprised if we're not seeing 30, 40 mile per hour winds tomorrow from a Cat 3 hurricane being only like a couple, like less than 100 miles away from us, I think. I wouldn't be shocked to see some maybe like severe thunderstorm force gusts, like maybe 58 around there, like 60. But I'm really interested because, like I said, the past couple years we've had hurricanes, they had to go through most of the state before reaching us. This is only, I mean, look at this map, like 1, 2, 3, 4 counties away from landfall, possibly. That's not far at all. For now, we're going to take a look at the 4 a.m. advisory on Hurricane Idalia. I'm not going to read off all this. I'm just going to kind of like hit on the big points that stand out to me. You can read it. Again, this is the National Weather Service and National Hurricane Center. Always use their stuff. It is public domain, by the way, so don't think you don't have the resources to make weather videos, as long as you don't try and like say, oh yeah, this is my graphic. No, this is theirs. I'm not trying to claim this is my own, but this is public domain, so anyone can use this stuff. Just a good tip, because I want to encourage other people to follow their passions. Anyway, random little rant over. 8 to 12 feet of storm surge possible along landfall, like the landfalling areas in the Big Bend, and even like I see 4 to 7 down there near Tampa Bay, and like a good chunk of West Florida is going to see some degree of storm surge, or well, actually, pretty much the entire western side and a good chunk of the Panhandle. And see now, something that I'm looking at, I don't want to think too far ahead, but I'm just like, do you see how Idalia is moving right now, or like how it's expected to move after, and they don't really know after this? I really, really hope this doesn't become another like um Hurricane Ivan situation in 2004. I really hope not. But Hurricane Franklin is out there and it is a complete monster right now. It almost got to Category 5 the other day, but I don't think it's going to make it now. It got to 150 miles per hour. Thankfully, it's not over land right now, but it is producing massive waves and swells along like a good chunk of the eastern seaboard, well, the southeastern seaboard, and I'm sure Bermuda is about to get slammed once it gets closer. It's not looking good out there. The Atlantic is really heating up, and there's more systems out there. I don't think any are going to get to the U.S. anytime soon, at least what's there. But you never know. Times are crazy. But yeah, hurricane conditions are expected within portions of the hurricane warning area along the Florida Gulf Coast, with the potential for destructive winds where the core of Idalia moves onshore. Strong winds will also spread inland across portions of northern Florida near the track of the center of Idalia. So the question is really how much, like, how far are the winds extending out from its core? Because, like, it's not even at Cat 3 right now, but you could see, like, down here, I know it's kind of small, I could guesstimate and say that's a good couple dozen miles to the east, and that's tropical storm force winds. But then we have to see how big the hurricane force wind field is, and that will really determine how bad the damage is. Alright, next up, I want to talk about the severe weather threat, actually. So, let me flip back to categorical here. You see a slight risk along a good chunk of the Big Bend and down into the Tampa Bay area. Most of Florida under a marginal risk. And for not hail, of course wind, I'm sure a lot of these gusty showers and storms are going to bring wind, but actually a tornado risk on that part of the coast. A 5% tornado risk, which isn't massive, but for Florida, that's pretty decent. And a 2% risk across the entire state, which, any way you slice it, a 2% risk of tornadoes for, like, the better chunk of, like, 21 million people, you know, that could be a big deal. And that's, of course, disregarding the hurricane and storm surge and all that coming. But then there's tomorrow, where it's essentially the same deal, but it's spread up a lot more of the path of Idalia. The marginal risk is shrunk a little to exclude southern Florida. But that tornado risk is now driven up the entire southeastern coast at 5% and is covering our area now. That's a pretty big deal. I don't know. I don't expect like a tornado outbreak or anything, but I wouldn't be surprised to see a decent couple spin-ups. And honestly, I don't want to be too optimistic for my chasing, but like, hey, if a storm cell comes by, maybe this might be the first time I get to see a tornado. We'll have to see. But yeah, this is definitely looking to be a pretty interesting situation tomorrow morning. I don't really know what to expect. With how my car is, I'm not going out. You know, like I said, if something, I'm not going out on the roads for the shit. No. So, really it's going to be whatever comes by. So, if something happens nearby, we'll cover it. If not, I mean, I'm still probably going to cover it through like the computer and stuff, but I can't cover it in person. So really, we're just going to be seeing what conditions are like here at home. Now we get to the real fun part. Look at this. Hurricane Idalia is starting to get into our frame of view on satellite, and look at that. There's that massive band of thunderstorms starting to appear in front of it, which I'm sure is associated with the overall circulation, but like cloud-wise looks separated, but you can see it's starting to fill in. And this is what I mean by the size of Idalia. It's like, yeah, that track is narrow, but look how big it is. Look at this massive plume of cloud tops you could see here. Do you see that? In those last couple frames, it's overshooting. Those are huge, giant storm clouds. And, like, you can't see a definitive eye of it just yet, but you can definitely see the center of rotation. Look at that. It's beautiful. One of my favorite things to look at in nature is hurricanes, honestly. It's almost hypnotic, like, looking at these things because of just, like, all of the dynamics that go into it. It's insane. Alright, so for the last section for now, oh, and I just saw on the bottom of my screen, even though there's a hurricane coming, we're still under a heat advisory. Isn't that lovely? Anyway, I wanted to show off the radar right now, which, as you can see, nothing, really. Just a couple scattered showers coming in. But you can see the flow. There was a small line of thunderstorms offshore this morning. I was actually seeing the lightning from it driving my partner to work, but they're gone now. But yeah, radar, at least in our area, is pretty dry right now, but it's supposed to be stormy today, even well ahead of Idalia, and I'm sure the heat isn't helping. And I'm going to show the, basically, future radar, I'll call it, even though that's not what it's called. I'm just forgetting its name right now. But as you can see, Idalia is intensifying. It's starting to get those more defined bands. And in our part, oh, I guess I can't move the mouse. Well, you can see up in northeastern Florida, southeastern Georgia, there's a cluster of thunderstorms. And they don't really seem to have much movement. I don't know if they're going to be moving to the south or not. But yeah, and within those storms, and because of Idalia being nearby that's been in the atmosphere, there's the potential for tornadoes today. Or really, any thunderstorm is just more likely to have a strong rotating updraft, which even if not having tornadoes, that also increases the risk for hail, and it increases the risk for strong winds and downbursts, heavy rain. So, um, I think that's it for this morning. I don't really think I'll have to do much updating until probably later in the day. I'll have to see what is around. And, yeah, I will see you then. Alright, so right now it's just a little bit after 1 p.m. We're looking at the National Weather Service radar for Jacksonville, Florida, in GR2 Analyst. And as you can see, it's mostly where the storms have been popping right now. It's been in southeastern Georgia near Brunswick and Darien, that area, and also over towards the Panhandle. Right now, over our area, it's been pretty dry, but future radar has been indicating that more storm cells will fire in the next couple hours closer to the Florida-Georgia line near St. Mary's. And also there might be an extremely early outer band from Hurricane Idalia coming in from the south. So for now, that's really all I could possibly be tracking. It's still pretty dry in the area, so I'll be back when there's some action. Alright, y'all, it is about 2:15 p.m., and as you can see up on screen, this is the rapid refresh model, that quote-unquote future radar thing I was talking about. This is from the Storm Prediction Center, and it seems to be becoming more and more confident that we're going to get our first extremely outer band of Hurricane Idalia sometime early this evening, but it's also still showing the potential for even more thunderstorms ahead of that. But right now I'm going to focus on this image because you can see it looks like a band with multiple embedded thunderstorms in it, and that could end up being very dangerous. Extremely heavy rain with potentially embedded supercells. So we're definitely going to be out there filming tonight. It's going to be a busy night tonight. Hello, it's the evening of August 29th, 2023. I'm out here on a road I didn't even know existed. This is what is going to be the First Coast Expressway. I didn't even realize they did this much work on it so far. Anyway, what you're seeing behind me is one of the first outer bands of Hurricane Idalia. It's getting pretty dark outside. That is a really dark line. Sorry if the angling's off. For some reason my tripod decided it was going to, the bottom was going to dismount. So I came out here looking for a better angle because I wasn't able to really see much at home. And yeah. So I drove down a dirt road out here. I'm gonna need to get out. So I'm gonna have to leave a few minutes before. Hope I don't miss anything. Look at that down there. I don't know if it's picking up on camera, but the last of the sun's starting to set. The sky's like glowing red. This is an ominous looking storm, not gonna lie. So this, according to the radar, it looks like a lot of the lightning action is occurring to the south and east, but from what I'm seeing out here, a lot of it's just occurring straight ahead. Now, I can't tell because it's starting to get dark, but it looks like the wind is starting to blow up ahead, kicking up some dirt. It's going to be a highway, but right now a lot of it is just rural land. Okay, so it looks like the leading edge of rain is about to come in. Yeah, I can see it. Alright, that's not good. It's getting a little close. Alright, yeah, we gotta get going. Alright, I just have to run back to my car. The gust front from this storm is coming in. It's starting to rain. It's causing a lot of blowing dust. I can't even stick my head out the car. It's getting in my eyes. But, yeah. I don't know if it's picking up well on camera, but there's a lot of dust. You know what?
crap. Wow. Okay, hold up. I'm gonna try. Oh, here comes the rain. Wow. Holy shit. Oh my god. Huh. What kind of a situation have I gotten myself into? Oh, it's alright. It's really hot in here. Hold on. I got a plan. I don't know how good of a plan. Okay, here. Just let me fold up one of the legs. Well, it looks like I might be ordering me a new tripod because the Amazon Basics tripod decided to break. Ain't that fun. So this storm was previously severe warned. I guess it's kind of cooled down a little, but not enough. Alright, I'm going to attempt to get out of here. Yeah. I'm going to attempt to get out of here. Wish me luck. Hey y'all, I made it home safe. It was a bit of an intense drive down that road, but I got out. We're here at home now, and so while I was away, they did extend severe thunderstorm warning for Clay County, but yeah, as you can see, a lot of the lightning is actually occurring pretty far away from here. We're not really hearing much thunder overhead. Right now, we're just getting that really heavy rain from the storm, a really heavy, windy downpour. That's the note, windy. Anytime it rains, before and especially during Idalia, obviously, it's going to be very windy. So I'm probably just going to leave the camera out here, try and get some lightning shots as the storm passes, and then that'll probably be it until later this morning, while we wait on another one of the outer bands of Idalia to pinwheel around the storm. But I got some really nice lightning shots over down near Rolling Hills where I was set up, and I'm hoping to get some more here. So yeah, enjoy. Alright, that was kind of loud. I was just coming outside to adjust the camera a little. I'm gonna go get a cord for this. Ooh, wow! Holy shit! I'm glad I came outside and moved the camera. Wow. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna go get a cord. Pretty, really fun storms. If I really wanted to, I could go back out and try and get an angle on this again, but I think I got good enough footage, and also how the car's been lately. Kind of don't like testing that, you know? So it looks like a lot of the lightning on local storms has kind of let up. It's been further to the west now, and there's an entire line of storms, so it's kind of hard to see from here. So I think for now, oh, wow, that was a pretty decent flash. Maybe I'll look for a minute. But I think for now we're starting to get towards the end of like this, the intense portion of this first rain band. Right now it's moving up north into Duval, Bradford, all those counties. There's still some special weather statements. They actually just issued a tornado watch for like basically the entire like western part of the Florida Peninsula, and you know, so it looks like the worst of the weather is still yet to come. That was still a pretty good first rain band though. Still packed quite the punch. So, ooh, maybe I do have to leave this running for a minute. So like, you know, with the hurricane approaching, all that extra tropical moisture up ahead of the storm, it was so hot today. There's a heat advisory, and it was up in the like 105, 110 range. And yeah, it helped. That instability helped keep these storms moving pretty decently into even after sunset. Because, you know, usually storms kind of peter out after sunset. These, I don't know. Like, obviously, they're weakening as they move on, but that storm was severe warned 3 different times, I think. Wow. Oh my god. I don't know if that was on camera, but holy shit. I know the flash was, but the bolt was, like, further up ahead. So yeah, once it's done, I'm probably going to go inside, edit up this portion, so it's all, I don't have to worry about that tomorrow. In case the power goes out, I can just have that done while we wait and see what else Idalia has to bring. The rain and the wind is starting to lighten up here. Woo! Holy shit! Oh, I know it caught that one. Holy fuck. That was good. I know it caught that one. So, I'm looking at it on radar. It looks like, even though a lot of the rain is moving out, there's still a lot of active lightning strikes over near the town of Lottie, which is in the next county over. So, I guess I'll leave it running for a few more minutes then. If we're seeing strikes, I mean, I ain't stopping. Well, I mean, this is already some of the best, like, lightning footage I've gotten. I mean, between some of those strikes and the footage I got out in the rolling hills, even though there was no strikes, just getting to see, like, the entire, like, front end of the storm light up like that was so cool. Well, I mean, there were still strikes. They were just rain wrapped. Not much of me. Or maybe they were, like, cloud-to-cloud strikes. I don't really know what to expect with storms tomorrow, because like I was mentioning earlier in the video, usually hurricanes don't bring a ton of lightning with, like, the main bands. And like I've mentioned, it has something to do with generally lower cloud tops in, like, a lot of hurricanes. But during intense hurricanes, the likelihood for, you know, like, stronger embedded thunderstorms is higher. So I don't know if we'll be seeing as much lightning action tomorrow as the storm approaches. I guess we'll really just have to see how bad it is over here. But on the outer skirts of Idalia, you know, the storms obviously are having no problem producing lightning. So, yeah. It actually sounds like the rain is starting to pick back up again a little, even though... Hold on. It says there was a strike coming by. There's, like, kind of the back edge of the squall line is starting to move in. Or not squall. Well, back end of the band is starting to move in. Moderate rain coming with it. Still getting those flashes off in the distance. Yeah, saying that we didn't get that winds here over 6 miles per hour. I don't know. Granted, I was on flatter land out more in the open, and that. Ooh, wow. Holy shit. Looks like I'm going to have a lot of footage to pour over. Getting mostly flashes, but every once in a while, you'll get that really nice strike. So yeah, as you can see, storms really feeding off the atmosphere. Not really slowing down all too much. At least not slowing down at the rate you would usually expect them to after sunset. Yeah, putting on quite the show for us tonight. And it's a lot cooler outside. The same logic, weather station saying it's only 75 outside now, which I can feel the temperature change. And that's nice, because that's like 35, 40 degree feels like difference from earlier. The same logic says that the highest temperature we saw at this area today, where I live, was 102 degrees. So it was really hot today. And if there's one benefit to the storm coming through, is finally a relief from just the brutal heat we've had for weeks. Starting to hear the frogs come in. Yeah, that rain is definitely picking up. So it looks like we're probably going to be on the outside of the, this is, I guess, kind of like the second half of the band. Maybe expecting the wind to pick up a little more, but nothing too crazy. Most of the heavier action, heavier rain, lightning wind is further out west in a cell near Lottie. That was a pretty bright flash. I didn't see a strike, but honestly, I wish I could, every one of these, I could see stripes, but it's kind of cool seeing, like, the light flash over the horizon, like, over houses and treetops. It almost looks like an explosion of light on the ground, man. In a way, I guess that's kind of what lightning is. partially. It's not just light energy, but it produces light. And I mean, like, one of the craziest things to me is like when lightning just lights up the night. I know that sounds so simple, but like when I was driving, it was only like 8:30, and in that storm, it was like pitch black. I was using my fucking high beams and shit to get out of there, and I couldn't see. And then, but lightning just lights it up like it's day, even if it's only for a few seconds. It's just amazing to me. Right, I haven't seen any more strikes for a few minutes. I might give it another minute or two if I don't see another one. I might call the recording for now. Yeah. Seeing those flashes around the edges. Woo! See what I hope that shows up on camera. Where was that? That looks like further directly north and like that was close. That actually like that lit up the area. Wow. I'm gonna wait and see if that shows up on radar scope because that was close. That might have been like an overhead or at least close cloud to cloud strike there. Yeah, alright. So looking at the map, Sumner Wadi is still producing a few strikes. Most of it now, though, is over near Lake City, and that is like at least 50 miles away. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get really good video from that, unfortunately. But if what's happening, I'll wait a minute or two. Might still see some action over us. That storm near Lake City is like really popping off, which sucks because they're going to be really close to the center of landfall. And the last thing they need is more rain. Pretty decent supercell. I'll actually throw up the, well, I don't know if it's a supercell. It's not a severe one. Hard to say about being here. But a very impressive thunderstorm nonetheless, because I'm seeing, like, it has a decent cloud top base of around 50 to 52,000 feet. Or a peak, rather. And then a lot of its base, or like a lot of the area surrounding it is in, you know, the 40,000 range. That's a pretty healthy thunderstorm. That's a very well-built thunderstorm. And again, like, seeing those cloud tops that high up, like, those storms still building even this late into the night is pretty impressive. Like, every time I'm about to say, like, yeah, I think I'm going to bring the camera inside, it's like, I don't know. Like, what if I miss out on something interesting? Okay, well, at least according to radar scope, the most recent lightning strike, that was down on the water near the actual like, town of Green Cove Springs. So if that's the case, that was still a pretty decent distance away. So it's about 10 miles, give or take. So you can definitely hear thunder from 10 miles away. That's not unreasonable. I think they say you can see lightning from 10 miles away, but you can definitely see it from further than that. Like, the light travels further than that. I know that for a fact. Because, like, I've seen flashes from thunderstorms with really, like, high tops. I remember, actually, I have a memory of me, I think it was in 2021 or 2020. I came to sit out here, and there was a thunderstorm all the way down by Tampa Bay, and it was producing lightning. I didn't see any strikes from it, but you could see the lightning and, like, the flash coming up over the horizon. That was well over 100 miles away. So I know you could see the flashes from lightning from a significant distance away. I think it's just a matter of, like, you know, not having anything obscure your view. And also, if the storm itself is very tall, that helps. Because if there's, like, cloud-to-cloud strikes, they're higher up in the atmosphere. It's easier to see. There's less obstruction. You can travel further. Yeah. So I know that. Thunder... They say you can hear thunder from 10 miles. Or wait. Right, so you can hear thunder from about 10 miles away, and lightning can strike, they say, about 10 miles out of the storm in extreme circumstances. That number on thunder, I don't know. I feel like it, depending, it can be a little more. But yeah, I'd say around 10 miles is a pretty decent, like, that's usually when you start hearing thunder is when a storm is about 10 miles away-ish, give or take. But, yeah, no, lightning you can see from a lot further away, especially at night, obviously. because it contrasts a lot more against the darkness. Alright, I think that's about it. The rain is getting lighter again. The storm near Lottie is kind of cooling down. Like I said, it looks like a lot of the action is happening a little too far to the west for me to really get decent footage. I'm still seeing the occasional flash in the distance, but it's definitely become a lot less intense. So I think I'm going to go ahead and pull the recording now, go get started on recording all this to the computer and editing it, and then I guess I'll see you again whenever I need to do an update or whenever there's more weather.
Good evening, y'all. My name is Ziggy, and what you just saw there was footage from Hurricane Idalia's first major storm band in northeastern Florida. As you can see from radar, it started to take shape around like 5:30 in the Orlando area, and really produced very heavy rain and wind for multiple hours, all the way up until the 10 o'clock hour now in extreme northern Florida heading into Georgia. And as you can see, a tornado watch was issued, and that tornado watch is active for another like 8 hours, and I'm sure they're going to make another one tomorrow. So really, I just wanted to provide a bit of meteorological context to all this, and just go over a few interesting things I found throughout the storm in terms of like radar, talk about the severe storm that came through, all that good stuff. So yeah, let's get into it. So first up, obviously, we have the storm that came through here. It was actually severe warned, and was not aware of it in the video. I think I woke up at 7 o'clock because I took a nap. I was up really early this morning, and I just kind of saw the band was coming, and I got ready to go after I went outside and tried getting footage, and it wasn't too interesting out back. So I was like, alright, I'm going to get moving. I didn't realize the storm was severe warned, and that could have been very dangerous. Thankfully, nothing bad happened. It was severe warned for 60-mile-per-hour wind gust. I don't think I saw 60-mile-per-hour wind gust out where I was, but maybe like 30, I'd say, might be a safe estimate. Sorry, the severe thunderstorm warning was issued at 7:21 local time, and the extended version for Clay expired at 8:12. So the storm was severe warned for about an hour, not super long track, but it produced some decent wind gusts, and it got us some really good lightning footage. So overall, yeah, I'd say it was a win-win for us. Alright, next up I have a radar scan of both reflectivity and velocity for Hurricane Idalia. So those deep blues you're seeing on the green side are around 100-mile-per-hour winds, and that like kind of orange whitish on the red side, that is also 100-mile-per-hour winds rotating around the center of the hurricane. It is a very powerful storm, and as you can see, an eye has actually developed, which is something you start to see in more well-defined hurricanes. Idalia is still forecast to make landfall as a Category 3. The Weather Channel's actually lowered their estimate a little bit. Wind speeds are at just around 115 miles per hour now, which is still going to be devastating. I mean, at the end of the day, it's splitting hairs between Category 3 and 4, or Category 2 and 3. People's lives are still going to be ruined, unfortunately, and there's nothing we can really do about that. Considering Idalia is supposed to make landfall within the next 8 to 10 hours, I'm actually starting to reconsider if it's going to possibly get to Category 4 strength, but I definitely think it'll be able to pick up to Category 3 before landfall. Honestly, I think our saving grace might be simply it's nighttime. It doesn't have the addition of the sun and that heating on this side of the planet to really help boost it. Now, the ocean water is still really warm, and that's going to be its main fuel source, but I know the daytime heating has to help it out. So, yeah, I think it will probably claw its way up to Category 3. We'll get a major hurricane landfall near Dixie County, or I believe it's Taylor County where Perry is, and it's going to be rough out there tomorrow. So to round out this video, I have the satellite imagery of Hurricane Idalia, and you can see exactly the moment where it starts to really intensify and that eye just pokes through, and you can see right down to the ocean floor. That is a violent, swirling storm, and like I said earlier, it is absolutely hypnotic. You can also see the lines of thunderstorms exploding along a lot of Florida over the day, and yeah. Again, this is one of my favorite things to do when hurricanes come through, is just look at this. Like, this is amazing. Like, all of the stuff that goes into this, it's incredible. Alright, so considering I got so much footage and there was also a lot of extra discussion to do, and I'm sure there's going to be plenty tomorrow to cover, I'm just going to make this its own video because I was going to have like one huge special, but I didn't realize that today was going to take up almost 40 minutes of time already, and the main event is tomorrow. So this is going to be its own episode of First Coast Storm Tracking, and there will be another episode for the main event. So yeah, there you go. I will see y'all tomorrow. I hope you guys have a good night. Please stay safe out there. And if you're in Florida, get ready for this. This is going to be a big deal.